So I said I was going to touch a little bit on the PCOS that I have, which is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, because it is Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome Month Awareness. Um, I'm just going to give you a little bit of back history of what polycystic is, um, and that there are some common links found with polycystic ovarian syndrome. But first, I'm reading this off of the womenshealth.gov, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services page, which they have said that yes, 1 in 10 women of childbearing age are diagnosed usually with PCOS. It's a hormonal imbalance, a metabolism problem that may affect their overall health and appearance. It's also a common and treatable cause of infertility. I was approximately in my 20s, early 20s, when I found out that I had it. Had a catalog like the Sears catalog, and been to so many different doctors. The last doctor before I was diagnosed was the doctor who did my mom's surgery. She had a size of a grapefruit on her ovary, and that had to be removed, and her ovary was fine then afterwards. But they've never really found a direct link or a direct relatable cause as to all of my hormonal problems. But I think if we look at my mom's health having the cyst, it's kind of a link there, but they're like, well, that's just a possible, but it's not a direct cause. Because my mom was never diagnosed with PCOS, never diagnosed with it. Anyway, long story short, all these doctors had told me, you're going to have, here's what you're wrong, you're going to have this medicine, that medicine, yada, yada, yada. Never really got the cause or reason why I went through so many problems that I had until Dr. Horvat. And thank God for her. She is the wisest woman on the face of this God's green earth. And she knew. I mean, she walked in and she had my file in her hand and she just threw it right in the trash can. And I was like in shock and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. And when she told me PCOS, that's the first thing that went through my mind. And, I think it's a hard thing to overcome, too, hearing that you may have severe problems if you ever have children, that you may never even be able to conceive, you may never do da 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 da. Hearing all the may nevers is just something that I don't like. And I said, well, how can we make some of this go away? And she goes, well, let's go in, do a laparoscope, and just exploratory, see what we see first. And I love that answer. And I had to grant her the wish, though, that if she found anything major, that she would be able to remove any problem. But I made sure that she knew that hysterectomy was going to be the last choice on the table. I don't like it, didn't want it. I wanted kids, and I still do. So at that point, she said, okay. We went in, found 8 cysts on the inside and the outside of my ovaries, and I was wedged on the right side. Oh, the pain. I remember waking up from that surgery. Anyway, from then on, life improved greatly with my PCOS. I can remember coming out of that surgery at that time, and I followed her letters to the rule. I had so many new different types of food that I ate. It was a new strict diet, and I followed it to the rule because I was so proud of everything that she helped me learn about my hormonal imbalance to everything that I knew that was going to happen in my future. And of course, you have to know where PCOS can lead up to, meaning other health problems can be linked to PCOS, like diabetes, high blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol, sleep apnea, depression and anxiety, and endometrial cancer. So all of those are things that might happen in my future. But I always say, let the future go over here, Lead your life as if you're leading it today. And I am so grateful for what I learned from her. I'm so grateful for what she did. And I just wish, and I wished hard, that I was going to have my kids by the time I was 35. That's probably one of my biggest regrets. Of course, a lot of my friends right now are asking about egg harvesting and all that stuff. And I'm like going, you know what? I don't really like the show Marrying Millionaire or whatever you want to call it, but there's an older lady on that show who thought she found the love of her life, and that didn't go through. And so she was talking now about having her eggs harvested and all that stuff. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to God. I think that's the conclusion she came to. And I think that's a good conclusion to come to, but I have an even better one. I'm not only going to leave it up to God, but I'm going to leave it up to Grandma, and I'm going to leave it up to my dad, Mike, and Great-Grandpa Henson, and all of those other family members, Great-Grandma Kane up there, who have passed on. And I'm sure that they are angels in heaven that influenced my life greatly. So if it's meant to be, it will be. You know what I'm saying? But as for PCOS, I do have it. I am one of 5 that has it. And that's one reason I have that around my Facebook picture right now, is for PCOS Awareness Month. I have my cover photo, it's all PCOS teal. So I'm not ashamed that I have PCOS. I'm not afraid to talk about my PCOS, because it's a hormonal thing, and to me, you've got to accept life the way it is. And my PCOS is not the greatest hand that I've been dealt, but it's the hand I was dealt. And I believe that we all have different strengths that we learned from in our life to make us better and stronger. And I think that, yes, it's one of my biggest stumbling points in relationships, because I'm always feeling like that I'm not enough. And it's probably one of the biggest reasons that I'm fearful of being in a committed relationship for a long period of time, and worried that I'm going to get left for somebody younger, someone who has good working ovaries, someone who can give them that what I may not be able to give them. It's not been fully ruled out, but I'm being realistic at this point too. I believe that romance, anymore exists on Hallmark movies and books. But it is what it is. We'll just have to see where life takes us all. That's my quick PCOS video for right now. It's a little downhearted, but realistic.